please welcome Evan Evagora and Isa Briones. Come on out, Isa. Hi, you guys. Welcome to Chicago, first of all. Thank you so much for coming. Are you guys glad they're here? Yay. So, huge episode for you last night, which we'll talk about in a minute. And I hope you guys are up to date. Are you guys up to date? Did you watch last night? Good audience, good fandom here. And speaking of fandom, I feel like Picard is not only such a huge legacy from the next generation, but also Star Trek in general. It's just the most dedicated fandom. In a way, I said this earlier at the Walter panel. I feel like Star Trek invented fandom with the letter writing campaign. And so, for you guys as actors, what is it like to come into a legacy like that?
I mean, it's a dream, I think, as an actor to already have an audience. I think that's always a worry with any project you do. You're like, oh God, I hope people watch this. But thankfully, Star Trek fans are so loyal that there is that built-in audience and that built-in fervor for something new and for a new story to be told. And we get to be a part of that and bring something new.
Yeah, I think you said it really well there. And Trek's gone on for so many years and there's so many different iterations, and every one of you that I've spoken to, you all have a different Trek that you love and a different captain and a different favorite episode. And it's just great that we get to continue that, and there's a new generation and an older generation that can come together and appreciate Star Trek again. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm kind of curious. Well, there's so many things I'm curious about, but did you guys grow up watching any Trek, Deep Space Nine or Voyager?
TNG.
TNG?
Big TNG fan. Any Q fans out there? Yeah. Any fans of Tapestry? Tapestry? Oh, that was a bit.
So growing up watching the show and then meeting Sir Patrick, what was that like for you, Evan?
I was terrified. I think I was speaking to a gentleman before at the signing, and he asked me what it was like meeting Patrick. And the first day on set, I was terrified, shaking. And then all of a sudden, Jean-Luc Picard comes walking through. Someone's speaking to him. Of course, he's nodding, very serious. And then they take him over towards me, introduce me to him. He says, "Hi, my name's Patrick." And I said, "Good, thanks." And as soon as I said it, I'm like, all right, I'm fired. I might as well just walk off the set. I've just embarrassed myself in front of Jean-Luc Picard. But he was really lovely after that and just kind of played it off as if it was nothing. And then we did the table read, nerves then again, and then actually having to work opposite him, and then with Jonathan Frakes directing as well, I was sweating. Or I remember, my outfit, as you've all seen, is very, I don't know, there's a lot of layers to it, and it's very hot in the California sun, so that wouldn't have helped either. But it was, I guess, a dream come true. After the first day, every day became easier and better and more comfortable. I'm sure you would agree, Isa.
Yeah, I mean, also Patrick has the most ease and grace to him that as soon as he meets anyone new, he completely just welcomes you in and makes you feel like you've known him forever. And that is truly what we all became very quickly into the process of making this. We all became a very close family, and really it's all because of Patrick.
Yeah. Now, the series obviously is cloaked in secrecy. And so I imagine that started well before you were cast. When you were up for the roles, what did you know about the characters and what sides were you given? Was there any context to anything?
Do you want me to go first? All right.
Yeah.
So my process was a bit different to, I know, a lot of the other cast members. They kind of found me in the final hour. So when I got given the sides, I think it was called Drawing Room, and my character was called K-Bar. Picard was called O'Toole in the scenes. Oh, right. I was like, what a weird name. So I just got told that it was Patrick Stewart and that it was Picard, and I think I was set to take a plane the very next day. So I, read through my lines, worked out everything as hard as I could, did the audition, then went on a plane to Fiji, and then I didn't find out I got it until a week later. I was like, all right, that's it. I've kind of screwed up my attempt of being on one of, the shows I watched growing up, so I'll leave it at that. And then I got a phone call, and now I get to be part of Star Trek, which is really amazing.
Yeah, I was on tour with Hamilton when I first started auditioning. Woo, yeah, Hamilton fans, yeah. was in Columbus, Ohio, and in my hotel room, Columbus, and the usual self-tape game. You put up a bed sheet over the door so you have some kind of white background behind you, and I did about maybe 4 or 5 self-tapes, and then eventually flew to LA to meet Patrick. But I didn't really know anything about my character. The description said she is a young woman, and
obviously,
and I was like, well, I know how to play that. But yeah, it very slowly then started to kind of piece together. I didn't know I was playing 2 people. Spoiler, if you don't know, then you probably shouldn't be here. But I didn't know I was playing 2 people until my final audition, and they were just like, yeah, so it's about, you and your twin. And I was like, what? No.
Well, you not only have that of playing the twins, but the characters are androids, but they don't know they're androids. I mean, I think now, after last night's episode, you're starting to figure things out a little bit. But how do you approach, when was that part revealed to you, I guess we could say?
Honestly, I didn't actually know who my father is until after I got the show. I think I may have read it, actually, in the script, and I was like, I think I might be kind of related to this guy. But I think I didn't. It was a big discovery for all of us. I think the creative team and we all of us didn't really know what direction we wanted to take the character, because there was like, okay, let's play it very much like Data, or let's try it superhuman. Like don't even. You're not even thinking about being an android, and so that's what clued me into like, oh, maybe she doesn't know, and that's like when we kind of started to get the full blown picture of these characters. But now we finally get to see Soji discovering who she is, which is cool, because I feel like Daj, went by so quickly. You get to see that whole arc in like 45 minutes, but now with Soji, you get to really get into it over an arc of 5-6 episodes now.
Yeah, well, Daj, I mean, even in the pilot, such a physical character with so much fighting, and same with your character in the pilot. Did you guys have to go through sort of extra fight training, stunt training? Like, how did that work?
Yeah, I started training about a month before we started filming, and we have a great stunt team, and thankfully they taught me most of it, and I really got to do a lot of it. But we my amazing stunt double, Kira O'Connor, she did a lot of the more strenuous things, the flips and stuff. Can't quite do that myself, but we all got to work on that a lot, and I think you did a lot of training too.
Yeah, I did a lot of training with the sword. I think I wasn't even in LA for a day, and I got a phone call asking if I could go down to the studio to meet my stunt double, and I was, really excited, and all of a sudden he's throwing me a sword, and he's like, see this is going to be what you're using for the next 5 months of filming, I think it was. So we just started working on sequences for an hour and a half, 2 hours, every 2 days, just trying to make me look like I know what I'm doing. But all credit to Anise. Actually, Anise, did he killed Daj in? Yeah,
the guy who spits on Daj, that's his stunt double, and he also choreographed everything. He's also a choreographer.
He's really incredible. Talented. So anytime you see Eleanor doing crazy flips, that's all him. I cannot get that high off the ground, even if I tried. Yeah.
Well, wait till a couple more seasons, then it will be.
Yeah. Stretch up a bit, Yeah.
Evan, you said you watched TNG, so you must have known a little bit about the Romulans, but what did you sort of do to prepare for the role and researching?
I did get given a list of episodes similar to what Star Trek released, what you need to watch before Picard comes out. A lot more Romulan episodes than what's shown. But the thing is, I had this kind of preconception to what I knew about Romulans, and then after it wasn't until I got given my first copy of the script with my first episode in it, and I was kind of like, hang on a minute, this kid is raised completely differently. So I then had to start talking to Michael Chabon about that, and then he was very helpful to point me in the right direction, the right people to speak to learn more about Romulan culture, stuff that we haven't previously known about. So that was pretty exciting. So I just kind of ended up having to approach it how I approach any character, whether they're an alien or whether they're not. It's, they're still a person with depth and, character and opinion and differences. So that was really the approach that I went with.
Well, and it's funny because you've kind of evolved into being sort of the comic relief of the show, know? And it wasn't so present right away, but now you're doing a great job with that. Did you know that was sort of...
I did after the second episode. I think Dr. Girardi says it the best. Does anyone think that Absolute Candor sounds really annoying? I think that was her line in my episode, and he is funny, but I don't think he doesn't realize how funny
he doesn't realize he's funny.
He just thinks he's the butt of every joke, and I think he says his truths and other people's truths, maybe not necessarily when he should, but it's when he says it, people definitely need to hear it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Well, we want to open it up to questions because I know you guys are probably anxious to talk to Evan and Isa. While they're getting organized, everybody in here loves Star Trek. They love Picard. They love you guys. What do you guys geek out about? What are you watching? What are you reading? What are you into right now? Doesn't necessarily have to be entertainment. It could be...
at the moment, I just finished Love is Blind on Netflix, embarrassingly, and BoJack Horseman. But I'd say, Picard's probably the thing I'm watching at the moment because we haven't seen the episodes, so even though we've, acted in them and done everything, it's just nice seeing it all come together.
Yeah, every time you guys see a new episode, that's the first time we're seeing it too. We haven't watched it. We saw the first 3 at the premiere, but now we're as excited as you guys are every time
we acted in our parts and stuff, so but it is nice.
Do you guys have watch parties?
We haven't had one yet, but
we want to do one of the. We want to do one for the final episode.
It's like the right one to really celebrate.
That's awesome. Hi.
Pretty much, I wanted to follow up on that whole. They told you to watch all these Romulan episodes, but then this sect has been revealed yet. It's like with the Romulan supernova, it's like an anthill's been kicked over. Like once upon a time, there was a queen, there was a hierarchy. This is exactly how everything is.
There was a whole system,
And everything that was being kept under wraps, like reunification and your particular order, is like now all out in the open. Whereas this same question could apply to both of your characters, since you're representing a new culture with a new experience. How do you portray? My character has lived this all my life, but the audience is getting these slow reveals about how that works. How do you maintain a fictional cultural identity like synthetic or, Romulan when you're also relying on suspense and revelations to the audience that doesn't know the full story yet?
I think for me, I have the advantage of discovering it along with the audience, which is awesome because obviously Soji is figuring out who she truly is for the first time, just as the audience is. So I think what I love is that Soji and the audience have this special bond of both going through it together. Other people may know more about her, but she's discovering it along with everyone who's watching.
Well, in terms of my character and my culture, my character's culture, sorry, I found a lot of similarities between Elnor and myself. He's a refugee. Both my parents are immigrants. So we're both from or raised in countries that we have no loyalty to, essentially. I mean, I call myself an Australian, but if you go back a generation, I'm either Cook Island Maori or Greek Cypriot. He was raised in a sect of all female warrior nuns. I grew up in a crazy household filled with women who were trying to hurt me or dress me up in a wig or anything like that. So the similarities were there. But I mean, it's just about finding those commonalities and sticking true to the script. And we have amazing